Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel. This is going to be a little bit different kind of video. I've done what spinnings before, just to kind of show what I've pulled from the collection, what I've been listening to, and I've done concert reviews. And I'm just not in the mood to edit in a bunch of concert footage from shows. And actually, a lot of the last few shows I've gone to, I haven't been taking a bunch of video. I've just been enjoying the show. Um, so I decided we'll do this little what's spinning, just kind of some of the stuff. A lot of it's stuff that I brought with me to get signed, that I listened to before and after the concert. Some would just get in the mood. Some of it's stuff that I bought while I was at the show. Um, and I've gone to a lot of concerts recently, but let's just kind of jump in. Let's start with. So I went to see Crowbar, Sacred Reich, and Sepultura. Sepultura, Max Cavalera era is one of my all-time favorite bands. I've talked about them a bunch of times. I love all of their albums. Schizophrenia is one of my 10 all-time favorite thrash albums. I just love that era. I've bought a couple of the albums. I remember, was it Dante XX or XL, whatever it was, and there was another one I bought. They were okay albums. They just never gripped me the way Max Cavalera's writing was just so good. And I always had an issue with them bringing in an American singer, because what was really good about Sepultura was their political point of view, coming from where they came from, and sharing that. There was a lot of that, especially in the Portuguese, Portuguese language songs. Just there was some fantastic stuff in there that they were never able to do with. I don't remember what his name is. Something Green. I don't remember what his first name is. But I had no interest in seeing them. I was there to see Crowbar, who is an all-time favorite, and Sacred Reich, who is one of my all-time favorite bands and a hometown band for me. So I brought with me, I brought quite a bit. So where I saw them at, the Masquerade, here in Atlanta, or in Atlanta, it's a decent sized venue. They fit. I don't know, man. When I saw Exodus and Testament there, I had never seen it that packed. There had to be 500 or 600 people there, so it's a good sized venue. And the cool thing about that venue is the bands always come out and spend time with the fans. So I brought a bunch of stuff to get signed. I've gotten so much stuff signed at that place in the past. So unfortunately, and I don't remember who the opening band was. There was an opening band too. Man, who was the opening band? I don't remember. So anyway, Sacred Reich ended up canceling at the last minute. Phil was sick. I don't know if it was COVID or if it was the flu, but they said he was in really bad shape. He couldn't sing at all. And so they ended up canceling that show, and I think the show after, and then they picked up the tour after that. The drummer from the band was there, which was pretty interesting. Unfortunately, he didn't. So the albums that I brought with me to get signed were The American Way, and then Surf Nicaragua. Surf Nicaragua, I think, is my all-time favorite metal EP, and American Way is just fantastic. These are the recent represses. I ordered the version that they only made 100 of. I don't remember what colors they are. I'm not going to pull them out. The drummer was the only one that was there, and he actually did a song with Crowbar. I don't remember what song it was, but he came out on stage and played with them. And he only played on Low, though, and their newest album. I already have their newest album signed from last time we were there. And I was going to bring Low. What album was that? Heel. He was a drummer for Hill. I was going to bring that album with me, but I decided not to. I decided to go with these. So anyway, I wasn't going to have him sign these because he didn't play on them. But I spun these 3 or 4 times getting ready for the concert. And then, where do I want to put these? Then Crowbar came on. Crowbar was fantastic. I have never seen Crowbar live. It was phenomenal. I bought a signed copy of their newest album, Zero and Below. So I had the album already. I actually just sent it to somebody as VCLT, the copy that I had. I pre-ordered it. On first listen, I just thought it was okay. And the more I listened to it, the more I liked it. And I've been playing it quite a bit now, actually. I do really like it. I've had a few people ask me about it. I do recommend grabbing it. Crowbar doesn't have a bad album. My least favorite album from Crowbar is Equilibrium, and it's still a pretty damn good album. I'd probably put this maybe 2 better than Equilibrium. It's still a really good album, though. So I got that. I don't know if you can even see it. It's signed by the whole band. This is one that it was his wife was running the merch table, who was really cool. And then I also bought a signed shot for the wall there. So I do recommend picking that up. And then I also brought my 2 favorite albums. I don't think anybody in the band now was in the band for these 2 albums. But my 2 favorite albums from Crowbar are Time Heals Nothing. So I had Kirk sign that one. And then, of course, man. So he tried to do a couple songs. He got all the way to, actually, I take that back. He got to the end of the set. He was about to do his last song. And I was shocked that he hadn't played anything from this, because this is by far their best-selling album. And there's so many good songs on here. And then right before he started playing Planets Collide, he said what it was. He can't sing the songs off of this album anymore. He said that he saved Planets Collide to the end of the set because had he sang it earlier, he wouldn't have been able to finish the show. It just destroys his voice, which is unfortunate, because this album is, if you've never checked out Crowbar, this is the album to start with. I think this is one of the heaviest albums ever written, and it's super slow. It's just so good, but awesome to get this one signed. This one will be going up on the wall. Like I said, this is probably one of my 20 favorite albums of all time, right there. And then Sepultura came on. Like I said, I wasn't planning on sticking around for Sepultura initially. But Sacred Record canceled at the last minute. So I decided, what the hell. Stuck around. And then I was hoping to catch the band before. So there's still 2 guys from this era. So you've got Paolo Jr., who's on bass. And then, of course, you've got Andreas Kisser. Now, Paolo is the only original member left in the band. Andreas Kisser didn't come until Schizophrenia. So they had already had 2 releases before Andreas joined the band. But it's basically Andreas's band now. And it has been pretty much since Max left. I mean, Igor was still there. But Andreas Kisser is the one that kind of led to the band being broken up. And it's a pretty crazy story. And I hear people talking both sides. But I read Max's book. And when you look at it the way he brings it up, it's kind of fucked up what Andreas did. I'm not going to go into that whole thing, though. But these are my 2 favorite Sepultura albums. So I was hoping to bring these and get these signed by Paolo and Igor. Because I still see Max comes to town pretty regularly. And Igor is here from time to time. So I know I can get these signed by them. But Sepultura pissed a lot of people off. First of all, the show was good. It wasn't great. And it's really funny when you see a band like this, because is it, I can't remember the singer's name. I feel bad for that, but whatever. That singer has been with the band far longer than Max Cavalera was. Max Cavalera was in the band from 86 to 97, so about 11 years. The new singer's been there since 98, or maybe it was 99 when he joined the band. So he's been there for over 20 years, coming up on 25 years. Every Max era song that came on, everybody went ape shit. Everybody was singing along. Every time the post Max era songs came on, dead quiet. People weren't really getting into it. They were just sitting there. You know, and it's also kind of weird hearing. So Max played guitar. So the band no longer has a lead and rhythm. It's just Andreas on guitar. And a lot of those songs sound really thin with just him playing. And it's kind of fucked up. I looked over and noticed that on two of the classic era songs, Dead Embryonic Cells, and then I don't remember what the other one was, but it's from that same era. The guitar tech was actually playing the rhythm, but he was off stage in the guitar tech area. So he's actually playing song, and that was just the two I noticed. He may have played more songs with him. But I thought that was kind of fucked up that they've got their guitar tech actually playing as a member of the band. They don't give him a shout out, nothing for the songs that he played. You know, I thought that was pretty fucked up. What was fucked up though, and what pissed, excuse my language, what was messed up and what pissed everybody else off though, apparently they had told their fan club that they were going to come out and sign stuff after the show, and then they didn't. So I was waiting, you know, like I said, I wanted to get these signed. It wasn't a huge deal if I did, but I thought it would be cool. So I had my original pressing of Schizophrenia. This is the Cogumelo pressing that I picked up. It's an original from Brazil that I picked up last time I was in Brazil. These are going for crazy money now. I think I paid the equivalent of like $50 for it in Brazil. I really wanted to get that one signed. And this is my original U.S. pressing of Beneath the Remains. So I thought it would be cool to get those signed by those two guys. Because like I said, I can get the other two guys to sign it pretty easily. So that's it on those. I don't want this one to go forever. Let's see. I also went to see, I don't remember what they called the show. Bay Area Returns, or I don't remember what it is, but it was Death Angel, Exodus, and Testament. That was a show I've been dying to see. It's been canceled here twice, and the show finally happened a few weeks ago. I had never seen Death Angel or Exodus before, so I was really excited to see them. I've seen Testament a few times. Testament's one of my all-time favorites. Death Angel was fantastic. They killed it. I would say Death Angel was twice as good as the other two bands, which really shocked me. But man, their entire set was phenomenal. The musicianship was 100% on point. It was just amazing. I hadn't heard their new album, so I was really happy to see that they had signed copies. They were the only band that had signed copies of their newest album. Exodus had their album unsigned, and then they had signed CDs, which didn't make sense to me. I already had the new Exodus album, but had they had a signed copy, I would have bought another copy of it and passed on the copy that I had. But they didn't do that. And then Testament just had some signed. Actually, I have it right here. Some signed photos. But ended up picking up this. I still haven't listened to it. But this is a Bastard Tracks. Man, if you get a chance to see Death Angel, highly recommend checking them out. They, like I said, they just blew me away. Oh, this is okay. This is a live album. Great American Music Hall, San Francisco, Saturday, May 22nd, 2021. So this is probably real similar to the set that they played when I saw them, but man, these guys were so good. It doesn't get much better. Next up was Exodus. I did get an Exodus shirt. I'm not going to grab it. I was kind of disappointed by Exodus. I loved their last album, or their newest album. I liked the album before that. I loved the album before that one. So it took a few songs for them to get into the groove. Like the first few songs, they were a little off. And this is early in the tour. It happens. They just hadn't meshed up yet. By the third or fourth song, I thought they were good. The rest of the show was really good. Gary Holt, he was all over the place. I think he was the reason that it sounded a little bit off. Like I said, he got into the groove, and he was good from that point on. But it just wasn't as good as I expected it to be. Unfortunately, the same held true for Testament. Testament, I saw them right before the pandemic. And man, they were so good. They were so on point. And this show, I don't know if it's Dave Lombardo just did not sound great. Every time I've heard Dave Lombardo, I've been blown away. I wasn't blown away by this at all. And I don't know if it's... so the best songs that he did were the two songs that he co-wrote when he was in the band. And they both sounded fantastic. The rest of the set, I just felt like he was still learning the material. And maybe it was because the last time I saw him, it was Gene Hoglan. And as much... Dave Lombardo is my favorite drummer of all time. When I started playing drums... it was because of him and because of Tommy Lee. I wanted to be a mix of those two guys. And I learned as much as I could from both of their playings. I learned a lot more Tommy Lee than Dave Lombardo because his drum rolls and his fills are just impossible to fucking do. I've even seen shows where he can't do them. But yeah, Alex was phenomenal. Chuck still sounds amazing. It's amazing he can still... especially that era, that Lombardo era from the 90s, to hear that he can still play some of those songs. Unfortunately, though, like I said, he hasn't been in that long. They announced he was joining the band a month before the tour, so I'm sure he'll get better as it goes along, but they just weren't near as good as they were the last few times I've seen them. So, but I ended up grabbing this, too. I didn't have anything signed by the guys from Test. I take that back. I have something signed by Chuck Billy, but Alex wasn't in the band at the time, and I don't have anything signed by Lombardo, so I went ahead and grabbed that. So really happy to have that one. And then the last that I'm going to show is the Reverend Horton Heat. I don't know if you guys know of Reverend Horton Heat. Texas psychobilly, rockabilly. Man, Reverend Horton Heat is so good. If you haven't checked them out, go check them out. You probably have. You've probably heard like 504 or Bales of Cocaine. They have so many killer songs. So I saw them. Actually, this is the album from that tour. I saw them on their 25th anniversary tour, which was 2000. Oh, when was that? It had to be like 2010. I want to say it was 2010. It's one of the best shows I've been to. So it was a 4-hour set, and there was another band before them. But the 4-hour set, what they did was they did either 3 or 4 songs from all of their albums, including their Christmas album. This is like June or July in Phoenix, you know. It was such a good show, though. My wife is not into punk or rockabilly. She loved the show. She thought it was so amazing. So I got the chance to see them. What was cool about seeing them here in Atlanta is they're older now. Psychobilly's not as big as it was back then. And Phoenix is a very psychobilly. Psychobilly and rockabilly are really popular in Phoenix, California. The whole car scene, it's huge there. Like Social Distortion plays in Phoenix at least once a year, sometimes twice a year. That whole car scene, rockabilly punk scene is huge. So every time I've seen Reverend Horton Heat, it's been 600-700 people. It's a pretty good sized show. To see them in a small club with maybe 50 people, Jim Heath was literally like 2 feet in front of me. It was amazing. I had a blast. Jimbo bouncing around the stage. Again, just a couple feet away from me, and the stage is only like this high. So when I say they're 2 feet, they were literally right in front of me. There was basically the speakers between me and the band. And man, Jim Heath in his 60s sounds just as good as he did 30 years ago. But really cool to see him in a small club. So I wanted to get some stuff signed. Unfortunately, So what happened was this club, it's I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. The front of it's a restaurant, and the back is a bar. It opens up into a bar, um, live venue. So no seats, and usually they stay open for about 30, 40 minutes. The back after the band finishes playing, so the band has time to come out and see everybody. So I don't know what happened this time. So Jimbo went back, cleaned up, and came back out, and signed a couple things really cool. But then Jim Heath, he said he was going to go. He was going to go clean up and change, and he would be back out in about 30 minutes. So I really wanted to get this stuff signed by Jim Heath as well. Unfortunately, they kicked us out after like 15 minutes. They closed it, forced everybody out. Even Jimbo was like, "Hey, wait up," And they're like, "No, we're closing it down." So there were a bunch of us waiting to get stuff signed, but I did get it signed by Jimbo, which is cool. This was not their last album, but the album before that. I love this album cover. I wanted to get signed by both of them so I could frame it, but this is Rev. Just a really, really cool album cover. And then this was the 25th anniversary show. So Jimbo signed it there. And it opens up and there's a really good picture of him and Jim. And he signed it there as well. And then when he went into a long story about the design of this and how they got it put together and stuff. But fantastic show. If you haven't seen Reverend Horton Heat, or if you haven't heard him, check them out. But if you haven't seen them, they're so good live. So some other shows that I went to recently, went and saw the Deftones with Gojira. Gojira was fantastic. I saw them in October of last year at a big festival. I was there for 2 days of the 4 days of the festival. Gojira was the best band at the festival, and Metallica was there. A couple other. Actually, I'm wearing the shirt from that festival. Welcome to Rockville. So I was really excited to see Gojira again, and I love watching. I've seen the Deftones. I think that's the third or fourth time I've seen them. First time I saw them was back in '95. Good seeing them again, but Gojira is amazing live. If you haven't checked, that's another band worth checking out. If you're into progressive metal, highly recommend checking them out. They started off as more of a progressive death band, and with each album they've moved more towards progressive metal. But man, live they're so good. I bought early access tickets, which gave me access to the pit. So I was right up on the rails. So I was right in front of the band. It was awesome. I was deaf for about 4 days. I wish I would have thought to bring some earplugs, especially when the Deftones came on, because I was right next to the speaker that the vocals was coming out of, and he had some crazy highs and damn near blew my ears out. Gojira, though, the drummer threw a drumstick in the into the audience, and I caught it. And then some big old monster dude that was like 4 times bigger, and I'm a big guy, yanked it out of my hand, and it just wasn't worth it to get in a fight over a drumstick. It's not like it was signed or anything. You can literally buy that drumstick online, his Pro Series. Who else did we see? Deftones weren't as good. The last time I saw Deftones was about 2011 was the last time I saw him. Chino's voice just hasn't held up. All that crazy screaming and stuff. They still sounded really good. I still really enjoyed it. But Gojira was just, they were so good that it was hard even for the Deftones to follow up. We saw Stryper. I took my wife and daughter to see Stryper. My daughter was blown away by how good Stryper was. She wasn't expecting it. She's not into metal or hard rock. At the end of the show, she was like, "Dad, I did not expect that to be as good as it was. That's the best show I've ever been to." She caught one of Michael Sweet's picks. My wife caught one of the Bibles, the Stryper Bibles that they throw out in the audience. So they both had a blast. And then I don't remember who the opening band was, but it was some band that was on America's Got Talent. Can't think of the name of them. It's like a whole family. The brothers, the sisters, the singer, the mom and dad are in the band. They were okay. They did some cool cover songs. Their own songs weren't that good. But the covers were really good. So it was a fun show. That's the last concert we went to. The next one will be the week after we come back from Jamaica. Is it next week? Man. Yeah, so we come back from Jamaica Tuesday night, and then Thursday it's Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Poison, and Joan Jett. I've seen Motley Crue 5 or 6 times. I love Motley Crue. But I have never seen any of the other bands. So looking forward to that as well. So I hope everybody's good. I just wanted to throw this together, show off some of the stuff that I got signed and whatnot. That's it, guys. I hope everybody's good. This will be posted while I'm in Jamaica. So, again, if I don't get to your comments right away, I apologize. I'll get to them. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you soon.